Greetings, Builder, and welcome back to the Lapis Kingdom. I am the Blue Regent, and today I am excited to announce that we are officially going to be working on the blacksmith for the village today. It's also going to feature building essentially the same house pattern that we've been building this entire time. So we're going to skip through that pretty quickly, and the main focus is going to be on getting the forge done. So if you're ready, grab your work boots, grab your tools, and let's get started. The blacksmith's house is going to have a very similar feel to the first house we built, our middle class house. But one of the differences is we're going to be cutting out a lot of the wood. And so I think a thing that I'm going to be doing as we get rid of the wood is basically kind of changing what blocks go where a little bit. And part of the reason of that is I want to kind of lean on the idea that it's just hot over here. It's hot. There's a lot of fire. You know, I'm not saying that there isn't going to be any wood ultimately in this build, but we aren't going to have all of the wood support structure that the other houses have. This is going to be to help break up a little bit of a monotony in the color palette, but also I kind of want this building to feel a little military. Essentially any settlement that no longer relies on its town center as where its bulk of its blacksmithing is being done probably also has a barracks, which means it's going to have somewhat of a garrison, which means not just tools, but more importantly, weapons and armor are going to be made there. And so I kind of want this to feel a little bit more like I said, like this is a military building. So I think I'm going to use stone bricks in the corner. So I think this is kind of how I want this foundation to work. And I like the idea of replacing the stone bricks with the smooth stone and the wood with stone bricks. I might play around and do smooth stone slabs in the foundation just because you kind of have, it looks like a brick a little bit, but I'm not sure about that. So for now, tentatively, this is what we're sticking with. This is going to give it a little bit more of an industrial feel, and like I keep saying, it's also going to give it a little bit more of like a military feel. So I switched this foundation to smooth stone slabs. Say that 3 times fast. And I think I like this better. It kind of implies like a stylized foundation. The house that I live in actually has kind of a cool, like the part of the foundation that comes up above the ground has not this pattern at all, but does have like a cool pattern going on it, and it repeats all the way around. Doing something like that just adds a little bit of character. And also the monotony of this is going to get broken up a little bit when we put like some, like the support walls in and stairs go in and stuff. This line down the middle, it breaks this up. Like this face is very flat and very bland, but this has like an implied like 3-dimension and depth to it that isn't actually there, but just this little shadow here that's drawn in just makes everything feel like there's a little bit more dimension to it. So in the attempt to keep a similar theme, but also use less wood in this structure, I've replaced the barrels that normally go on these houses with bricks. And I don't normally use bricks. I personally don't care for this block. It's I think it's the thickness of the mortar lines, which there really can't be anything that's done about it. And I get that. However, I just don't care for them. I've never really built anything and thought, oh, you know what I should use is bricks. However, I think I like this here. It's kind of it kind of does the same thing as the barrels. It breaks up the color between the base and the walls, and it's drastically different than both of them. I think once we get the next layers on, that's when we'll really know. And the nice thing about it is if I don't like this in here, it's pretty easy to replace. So because we've worked on this particular type of building several times now, obviously I'm not spending a lot of time working on building it on camera. However, there are a couple things that I want to work on camera because figuring them out in real time is kind of important, especially in these early episodes when my goal is like palette exploration and figuring out how I want things to work out. And so in the process of figuring out what to replace all of the external wood components with, I kind of have been struggling with this doorway. And I think what I want to do is polished andesite. And then in the corners, I think I want to do chiseled stone bricks. That's actually too high. Almost did the town center thing all over again. So polished stone bricks. And then I think for this doorway here, I think I want a polished andesite stair facing this direction. I like that a lot. I like that polished andesite is still a little rough looking versus like polished stone. I feel like this kind of implies that even though this is all stone, this isn't necessarily a wealthy person's house. Kind of like the brick down here. Like this is still like fired clay. So it doesn't really imply wealth. It's just different materials out of necessity. I think for these little like footings, I'm going to do andesite wall. Because again, this is kind of a rough texture. And I feel like it implies that they basically just, like, not hastily, not necessarily cautiously, hewed these out of stone. And then we're like, oh yeah, that's enough. That's enough for... We have a similar theme here as the rest of the houses. But because there's these kind of rough textures and these new stone elements, it still implies that this is, like, tops a middle-class house. This is just a middle-class house that needs more stone because of, you know, like, lots of fire and heat happening nearby. So the blacksmith's house is done, and I like the way this came out. It has all of the same features that a normal house of this size would, just a slightly different palette. And I did adjust which side the bedroom was on and which side the kitchen was on, simply because if this road is going to be like a major walkway and traffic from the mine to both the town center and the blacksmith is going to be pretty high, I would assume, you wouldn't want your bedroom right there. So the kitchen is right here on this side next to this road. And then the bedroom is off on the other side in a more secluded area. So now the next part that we're going to work on is the actual building from Minecraft. And this is a pretty simple structure. And so that's why I wanted to get the house built first. Because the actual blacksmith building in Warcraft is just the forge. So I know that this is the basic shape that we came up with in the planning episode. However, I think I want to make a couple alterations to it. So one of the main things I want to do is I want to move it back a little bit. So I'm going to move these out of the way. And I know I want the cauldron of sorts to be represented by these magma blocks. So I know I want that. And then, let's see. Does this give me enough room? Or does this still feel really crowded? I think I want to come back one more. So I'm just going to shave off that whole row. This is the general shape of the cauldron. And for right now, for space purposes, this is going to represent blast furnaces right here. Now if let's see here, just out of curiosity, If I put the blast furnace on that block, can I reach it from here? I can. Okay. Do I want to have the blast furnace all the way back there? No. No. No, I do want it up here, I believe. Okay, so that's where the blast furnace goes. I don't know if that's going to be tall enough yet. The height of the smokestack is probably going to be altered as we go. So the next thing I want to do here is I want to figure out how I want this to have a roof on it. And let's see what I can figure out. So if I did, let's try, oops. This kind of shape. And then if I brought this down one, what if I put some supports? Oh, that doesn't work. Okay. So I'll move these here. Now that's a lot of cobblestone. So what if I replaced these? Okay, let me think about this for a second. I could take the roof up one layer. Okay, so I took this up half a slab. And let's see if this gets us a different outcome. How does Blackstone look? I think I like that. Okay, so I have Blackstone walls for pillars. I could just do Blackstone. Or I could do basalt, which kind of has a wood-like look to it. This is the real test. So I get more of a change with this. But this still kind of, this part of the Blackstone still kind of sticks out a little bit more. What if I did like that kind of thing? Well, this feels unnecessary here. But I could put like that. Oh, I think I kind of like that actually. Yeah, I think I like the Blackstone walls. I bulked up the back of this a little bit, and so I think I want to... No, I don't want that upside down. Throw that there. Throw this here. So that has a little bit smoother of a shape to it. Now I could fill these gaps in with walls. And I do think I kind of like that, actually. because the walls kind of rounded out a little bit more, and also just make this look like big and sturdy and heavy. So I kind of like the idea of this being kind of a squat. How does this look? It doesn't make it look more round, but I think I might like that. So I do know I want to bring this up a little bit higher. I think that's a good height, and part of the reason I'm not going to have it be taller is I'm going to do something slightly different with this fireplace. Throw some walls on top to get like a slightly different shape. And I like that. Yeah, that's kind of cool. It's got like a nice little more industrial look to it. Yeah, I think I like that. I think I like that, the way that looks. It just peeks out just a little bit, but I'm into it. Okay, so now we've got our 4 blast furnaces in here. I'm gonna throw, I think I want one. Yeah, I want one anvil there. I'm gonna put one anvil here. So this is basically just like 2 workstations at the forge. And we can throw a grinding stone. Let's get rid of this. We can throw a grinding stone off to the side here. One last thing this build needs to kind of have a reference to the Warcraft 1 blacksmith is just a couple, I'm going to use cauldrons, but basically they're just like barrels of water. And these would be like quenching barrels in a normal blacksmith. But these are still kind of playing off of that original idea. The very last thing that we're going to add to this build, is this in the right spot? Actually, I'm going to pull this back one. Is going to be kind of off to the side here. And it's just going to be a little bit of a structure that is just going to kind of help enclose this space. And let's see, I think I want this to work like this. So this is just kind of like to help keep this area feel closed in, as if this is like a closed in workspace. And it's just like a basic storage area. I think I want some barrels in this corner. So let's go one here. One here. Maybe one here and one here. So now we've got like a little storage area. Just like a little shed, I guess. And then we've got our workspace. We have a living space. And then the last thing really to do is to just bring down this hill. So the road's been brought down, and the last thing to do over here is I'm just going to create a little step up to the blacksmith shop. Now, ultimately, this ground area is going to be worked on. However, that's not happening today. I think a lot of that kind of stuff is going to be worked on when we do the like let's improve or let's upgrade the village episode. For now, this gets everything done that I want it to. And we can work on our road as it comes back up to here. And there. This is like our little, officially our little industrial center for the village. The very last thing that we're going to work on today is the very entrance of the new mine entrance. And I started kind of working on an interior space in here, and I wanted to do kind of like a winding path down, but I was kind of struggling with it. And so I think I'm actually just going to do kind of like a straight down landing, straight down to the side, landing, and just kind of like corkscrew down. And so this is actually probably going to be filled back in mostly. But this was my initial attempt at kind of doing like a winding path down. And so while I try to kind of figure out how I'm going to do this, I'm at least going to... I don't know why I'm doing that by hand. I have a shovel. I'm at least going to fill these spaces in and kind of get the entrance of this figured out. So I think that this is kind of the start of what I want to have going on here. Just a real simple wooden structure. And I think I'm going to bring some oak logs across here. And I think I want maybe some torches on the inside. The only tricky thing about this front here is... I don't hate that. I really wish that you could split the types of slabs you had. Like, if I wish that I could do like an oak slab and then a spruce slab right on top of it. Because that would make what I'm trying to do here a lot easier. However, I'm okay with this. And actually... how noticeable would that be? What if... I'm just going to try something here. Because then that's in the front. And maybe, actually, could I cover this up? I probably can't cover it up. I could do like a this. And then that adds a little bit more shape to the roof, and I get what I want going on here. Maybe I'll do that all the way down. Okay, ooh, I'm going to do that. Okay. And then let's see, what if I want 1, 2, 3, I can go here. Yeah, I think I like that. And then the last thing I'm going to do is, I think, just put a little bit of a roof or a ceiling in here. Hide the interior of the roof. And for now, more will be done in here as this gets worked on. But for now, this is a good start. I like this. So with our blacksmith's house, our forge, our storage area, and the very beginnings of a mine entrance built, that is going to be it for today. I'm excited to see how all of this continues to unfold and how the exploration of how all of these buildings kind of tie together is going to continue to evolve as we go. I look forward to seeing you next time in the Lapis Kingdom. Have a great day. Bye.